Hi, this is highwithoutcoke and welcome to my last build of the league. This is my third time playing Shockwave Totem. I've played a cold variant, a poison variant, and now an Impale variant. This is by far the most tanky and powerful totem build I've ever played. Like any other totem builds, my Impale Shockwave Totem build is very chilled but incredibly fun to play. All you need to do is summon your totems and watch everything get blown up. If you have run Blight-Ravaged maps before, you would know that the bosses in these maps are very tanky, not to mention I even rolled a more life modifier on this map. Still, the bosses all went down very quickly as soon as I summoned my totems. I initially created this build to do Uber Blight and Uber bosses, but ended up doing quite a few other contents as well. I managed to complete a few Simulacrum runs, despite dying a few times. The only thing that could kill me was the Delirium boss that appeared after wave 10. At the time the build wasn't quite finished yet, but it still managed to do pretty well. This build requires me to stand close to the enemies for maximum DPS, but this is not a problem because I've kept lock and other defensive layers, making me quite tanky. I also did a bit of delving. This is me delving at depth 200-ish. I would have gone deeper if I had more time, but 0.5 is coming soon, so kinda have a lot of things to prepare. The clips here showcase how well it clears things up. I would say the clear speed is very good. It's not like Spark or Flicker Strike, but still very good. I turn off Righteous Fire when delving, because first, I don't need so much damage, and second, there's this blue Vortex Degen ground which is very dangerous and hard to see, because everything in Delve is blue. Since I'm low life, it will kill me very easily if I don't notice it quickly enough. So turning Righteous Fire off greatly increases my survivability in Delve. This build really shines when it comes to bossing, whether it's Uber bossing or just normal boss rush. It has great single target DPS, going up to 120 million DPS with all buffs active. I finally was able to kill Uber Maven, which I couldn't with my Flicker Strike build. Good positioning is the key to kill Uber Maven easily. Touching the beams and getting Maven's punishment is one dreadful mistake that must be avoided at all costs. Not only does it reduce all maximum elemental resistances by 10%, but it also prevents all life and ES recovery for 10 seconds. This is especially bad for my build because I'm using Righteous Fire, which relies heavily on max res and life regen to overcome the huge degen. When this happens, a life flask can be used to remove burning, which also removes Righteous Fire to avoid dying from its degen. Besides that, I'm using ES to cast my skills, so without ES I can't do anything. It's a good practice to lead the decelerating projectiles to the edge of the arena, because unlike normal Maven, the pool of cold dot they create persists throughout the entire fight, which is very dangerous for my build and limits combat area. Other Uber bosses I did were Uber Sirus, Exarch, and Eater of Worlds. All were easy. Having high DPS really helped to trivialize the fights. I just had to know when to dodge or avoid the mechanical big hits. The defense was enough to carry me through the rest of the fights. Props to my Spectres for not dying and sticking with me through the end. They are very tanky, and they provide huge boosts to my damage and defense. Perfect Warlord offers Vitality Aura and shares his endurance charges with allies, while Perfect Guardian Turtle provides Determination Aura and physical damage reduction. Together, they provide substantial defensive benefits, making me very tanky. The core item of this build is Entropic Devastation. By default, only attacks can inflict Impale. However, with these gloves, we can inflict Impale with spells on critical hits. This is where a Diamond Shrine belt comes in. All hits are guaranteed to be critical hits, so every hit inflicts Impale. Now that critical strike chance is useless, Marilyn's Fallacy can be equipped to gain a huge amount of global critical strike multiplier, completely ignoring its downside. My wand is a +2 wand, which I crafted almost from scratch. This wand is a little bit different from how we craft a normal +2 wand. Usually when we isolate both +1 mods, we can proceed to veil or benchcraft spell damage with non-chaos damage gained as extra chaos damage mod. But unfortunately, chaos damage doesn't really do anything for this build, so we want pure spell damage mod with both +1 modifiers. For the fractured part, I initially bought a wand with 28% quality and tried to alteration spam and fracture the mod myself. You know, I thought I was lucky. After failing 5 times in a row, I gave up on the idea because it was really bad for my mental health and my wrist. So I just bought a wand with the mod and somehow was able to fracture it on my first try. Then I followed a crafting video, which is linked to the description below, for all the crafting I did later. It took me about 21 divines, from fracturing the +1 to all spell skill gems modifier to finishing the wand with harvest craft. I could have unveiled a suffix, benchcraft another, and slammed the last one, but that would be another 20 divines. So eventually I just settled with my current wand, which is pretty good already. I already have a lot of crit multi, so double damage actually gives higher DPS. This shield is perfect for this build, except that it doesn't have any ES, which I need to cast my skills. As you can see, my ES is a little low, so I must take care not to spam my totems. I did not intend to get a shield like this. I was only looking for high block chance, preferably 40% or above, the mana reservation modifier, and an extra totem. I came across this beautiful shield and it was 18 divines, so I bought it. But I think it would be very hard to get a similar shield without breaking the bank. I'm no crafting expert, so I tried to find a crafting guide for this but was unsuccessful. However, there are several good modifiers as well besides these. For example, flat life regen, resistance, and minimum frenzy charge. Getting minimum frenzy charge is actually very good. You can get +2 on your shield and another one on your ring. I'm using frenzy, but my accuracy is low, so sometimes I need to fire a few times to get the charges. I mean, I can get accuracy somewhere, but I'm done with the league, so that's that. If your shield doesn't have a void elemental ailment mod, you can get it on your boots as a suffix. Diala's malefaction is best in slot for damage. Prioritize getting red sockets, green sockets are alright, and then we don't want blue sockets. We need at least 2 red sockets for Shockwave Totem and Empower support. This brings my Shockwave Totem to level 31, which greatly increases my damage. I take 100% reduced extra damage from critical strikes, 50% from my body armor, and another 50% from tattoos. Critical Mastery provides 30%, so this is another way to get it. I got Nameless Bloodline, so I have 3 ring slots. The first ring is definitely Astral Projector. It's almost mandatory because its auto-targeting ability makes everything so much smoother, whether it's clear or single target. I wouldn't play this build without it. I got a Cockwork Ring. I basically just looked for one with at least 20% cast speed and 30% crit multiplier and then some life. Other mods are very flexible. Just pick those that fit your build. It's worth noting that you can get vulnerability curse on hit modifier on your ring if you somehow can't get it on your gloves. I vowed the gloves myself because at the time a pair of entropic devastation with vulnerability curse on hit and with decent rolls was about 20 divines. So I bought 40 gloves with at least 40% impale effect and vowed them. Only cost me about 5 divines to do so. These are the support gems I use for Shockwave Totems. Control Destruction because less critical strike chance doesn't affect us. Brutality because I want more physical damage. Totems cannot grant Cruelty buff. I only use Cruelty support to get 24% more damage. I use quite a few auras or skills that require reservation. Pride, Flesh and Stone, and Herald of Purity for damage, Purity of Fire, Tempest Shield, and Petrified Blood for defense. Purity of Fire also helps to sustain Righteous Fire. This is the setup for my Spectres. I currently have 3 Spectres. To do this, I need my race Spectre to be at least level 25. I get +2 from my helmet, +1 from my wand, and another 3 levels from Empower support. Again, it's much cheaper to fracture the mod yourself. You can get +2 to minion skills implicit on your gloves, but then you have to use a curse on hit ring. I think you can use a level 3 Empower support, but the Spectres will be 1 level lower. My Spectres are very tanky, they don't die. Perfect Guardian Turtle has slow movement speed, but I got Convocation with increased cooldown recovery rate, so it's fine. Alternatively, you can use Companionship support with only Perfect Pain Artist. Companionship works best when you have only one Spectre, because it allows 15% of hit damage to be taken from their life first if you only have one minion. Companionship provides 60% more minion life. You don't even need an inbuilt gem because your Spectre will be tanky enough. I use 4 unique jewels for this build. Unnatural Instinct is placed here to gain all bonuses of unallocated small passive skills in this radius. This location is great because I get generic physical damage, totem cast speed, attack block chance, resistance, and movement speed. The second unique jewel I used was the Light of Meaning, which provides 6% increased physical damage for every passive skill in this radius. This jewel alone gives me around 20 million DPS, which is a substantial damage boost. Another unique jewel is Watcher's Eye to gain 2 extra impales and increased cast speed. I don't have a lot of life regen from my gears, so I compensate for this by using Rational Doctrine to gain access to Consecrated Ground, which gives me 6.25% of life regen. My intelligence was higher than my strength, but I used tattoos to lower it for this jewel to work. There's an easy way to craft this large cluster jewel. Buy a jewel with Mastered Fundamentals mod and try to fracture it yourself. Usually you get it under 5 tries. When it's done, spam Jagged Fossil to try and hit the other 2 desired mods. Let's say if you hit one desired mod and one other mod, you can choose to sell it or use it for yourself if you don't mind getting a little bit less damage. Snaring Spirits actually gives a little bit more damage than Ancestral Echo, but I don't always use Frenzy when mapping, so I prefer having more consistent cast speed. For all other red jewels, prioritize getting attack block chance, max fire rest, and crit multiplier. Otherwise, here's a list of mods that also benefit the build. I went low life to gain 30% more spell damage from Pain Attunement. I had to anyway since I wanted to use only ES for casting skills with Petrified Blood active. I grabbed some energy shield here because my ES was low. If you have enough ES from your gears, you can take other nodes instead. For example, Arcane Potency for 40% crit multiplier. There are 3 points as well. Alright, that's it for my build. I'm very satisfied with the league. I've done everything I want. Uber boss is done, Nightmare boss is done, 37 challenges done. I even did some delving, which I haven't done for quite a while. I don't even recall when the last time was I delved, probably a few years back. I'm officially done with Mirage. It's my most favorite league now. I didn't know I would enjoy a league so much. When I kept my expectation low, I got such huge surprise. So I'll do the same for POE 2. The Infinite Atlas isn't for me, and I know GG made some changes, but will it really be good? I don't know, but I won't even wish for anything or predict anything, just going to keep my expectation low. That's it. Alright, thanks for watching and good luck with 0.5. Stay sane.